Well, it's official. PlayStation 5 is launching holiday 2020. Not the biggest surprise in the world for sure, but it's nice to have it confirmed. Sony pretty much just tweeted out this morning, and alongside that came a Wired interview similar to how we first got next-gen details back in, I believe it was like April or something like that. Wow, time's flying by. Honestly, didn't expect to have any more PlayStation 5 news, at least this year. Fully expected them to have a conference next year or some kind of reveal, and now I'm starting to question that based on how they're doing information right now. And yeah, so ultimately what we got was not really all too surprising. We got the official name PlayStation 5, which apparently was a heavy burden to come off of Jim Ryan's chest, which I have no clue why, because anyone and their mother could have expected that the next PlayStation would have been called PlayStation 5. It makes the most sense and ultimately is what everyone kind of just expected. So yeah, that's cool. They're not going to do anything dumb. It's not going to be the PlayStation Ultra or any crap like that, which is nice to have a confirmation, I guess. And yeah, holiday 2020, that one was also to be expected because quite frankly, you know, any console in the past decade, at least from the big two, have always been holiday releases, and we all pretty much knew that this was coming out holiday 2020. We did actually get some more details on terms of like specs and UI and stuff, and I'm gonna kind of break that down today and try to go over everything I'm excited about and ultimately just go over everything that they're sharing with, and yeah, ultimately give my thoughts on what comes next and what Sony's doing. So yeah, I guess we'll start off with the tweet that PlayStation kind of tweeted out here in their whole blog post. Yeah, it's just pretty much talking about how, you know, they originally unveiled their next generation console back in April. They wanted to cover over some more details as, you know, the year's ending here. And yeah, the pretty much big news that we got out of this was pretty much based on the Dualshock 5. The Dualshock 5 will actually have haptic feedback, similar to HD Rumble with the Nintendo Switch, how you could feel distinct objects and different kind of feels that they're going for. Really only a few Nintendo exclusives have really used those, but it has actually pretty impressive technology, and it looks like Sony is going to be even going further with like the triggers and every single button. Like they even said like an example that maybe when you're pulling off a bow, there's going to be like a different level of resistance than normal, and you can really feel when you're using different kind of guns. You know, obviously the feedback will be very different according to like what gun you're using and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I honestly am really excited for that in terms of VR. I mean, they even said that the Japan studio, the specific team that made Astrobot, was the team that showcased that demo to Wired, so that is extremely exciting for anyone that's, you know, into the VR kind of PSVR market or just, you know, VR enthusiasts like myself. That's going to be a really cool technology for next generation for Sony to use, and that's just, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to see that happen with the next move as well, so yeah, pretty cool there. Alongside that, they did say that they're going to have like a bigger battery life, which I think everyone wanted. That's definitely something that, you know, the PS4, DualShock 4 at the moment doesn't have the longest battery life. It is quite noticeable, like definitely when you compare it to other consoles like the Switch Pro controller and stuff, the battery life is really small compared, so that's always nice. That's just kind of like a quality of life thing that, you know, when you read it, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but when you're playing the PlayStation 5 for like the next few years, it's going to add up and you're going to notice it. So in terms of that, yeah, obviously, you know, definitely excited for that in terms of what the DualShock 5 will be able to, you know, conquer at least. And they said that they were sending it out to developers lately, and it looks pretty similar to the DualShock 4, but it is a bit heavier kind of compared to, you know, the Xbox One controller, maybe without batteries out of it. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty hefty controller, and it's going to look similar to the DualShock 4, which I think is perfect in my opinion. I love the design of the DualShock 4. I think it's PlayStation's best controller to date. Definitely better than whatever ass kind of controller we got with the DualShock 3, man. Yeah, definitely excited that they're continuing in that direction. And they even said that actually they were actually originally planning to have that for the PS4 Pro, but they felt like that would have been really weird, which I agree that would have been really weird. So they saved it for next gen, which makes the most sense. And yeah, that looks pretty exciting, and they did say that there is like a little camera or there's like a microphone or some kind of thing, but PlayStation didn't really want to go over that, and there's pretty much two kind of theories online that I've seen. One, it's going to be like some kind of Siri or Alexa for the PS4, kind of like its own kind of voice operating system, which to be honest, I don't really want that. That's going to be more of an inconvenience, but I think that's like the most likely theory that I've seen online right now. Or it's possibly a rumored camera that was rumored when the original PS5 news came out, that apparently the DualShock 4 would have a camera, or the DualShock 5 would have a camera for, you know, PSVR. So yeah, there's definitely something up with the controller, but Sony's not really talking about that as of right now, but yeah. Alongside this, I do want to iterate that Sony did say that Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima are coming to the PS4, not the PS5, so everyone that still thinks that Ghost of Tsushima is coming out on the PS5, yeah, you have that confirmation there. No, that's still a PS4 title alongside Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding, two of which games we already have the release dates for, so yeah. Alongside this, you know, before we go into the Wired magazine, well, I guess this was in the Wired magazine because they were kind of asked this, or at least they had like some kind of input there. I think they had some guy from Bluepoint, one of the leads, and he did say that they're working on a big PS5 game. So yeah, quote unquote big, which, you know, the big news there is that it's a PS5 game. I mean, there's no, you know, last PS4 game that's remained to be announced. It looks like everything's working on, you know, PS5 games. All the teams that have worked on previous PS4 exclusives are now working on the PS5, and yeah, until I hear otherwise, I'm pretty sure that there's no other PS4 exclusive in development, and if it is, it's probably gonna be like a AA kind of game. So new SSD will help boot times, we already knew that, but apparently, yeah, just they talked a little bit more about that in terms of the SSD, nothing really too big there. The Dualshock 5, I actually forgot to mention, will have USB Type-C, which is really nice. That's kind of like a standard now. If you look at phones and the Nintendo Switch, USB Type-C is kind of the norm, so it's nice to have, you know, kind of the same kind of cable used for it, especially like just for convenience if you're bringing it on a trip and stuff. It's just a nice universal cord that they're all using, so, you know, good stuff there. Ray tracing support will be hardware based. Apparently that was some kind of big question mark that a lot of technical people had, so that was answered today, which is cool. PS5 dev kit that was shown off, you know, around like the whole V shape that everyone was mocking, apparently is real. Yeah, apparently Wired says that that's what it roughly looked like, so yeah, apparently that has some weight to it. Yeah, as I said, Bluepoint's working on a PS5 game. I really hope that's Demon's Souls, because quite frankly, that's one of the PS3 games I have yet to play, and I don't want to play it if they're going to be doing a remake. So yeah, Bluepoint, please be working on Demon's Souls, or Metal Gear Solid 1, that'd be really cool, but I doubt it's Metal Gear Solid 1 just because Konami and shit, so yeah. Besides that, I guess the last thing they really talked about was just the UI. They said that apparently it was going to have more of a focus on, you know, what activities per game you could play. So let's say you hover over, like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption, maybe it will show up the single player as well for you to boot up, but it also shows like the different multiplayer activities you could do, which is something that could be pretty cool. But it honestly sounds like one of those features that I gotta see before I believe, just quite frankly, because look at the PS4, like I feel like a lot of that stuff are promises with the PS4 in terms of, oh, how easy it is to join someone's game, but look at their notification, as well as like downloading single player, multiplayer. They're kind of talking about that again, how you can like uninstall different sides of a game. So let's say you have Call of Duty, you know, notorious for having like big 100+ gigabyte download sizes. If you don't play the multiplayer, you could always uninstall that, or, you know, probably most notably would be uninstalling the single player after you're done with it, and then keeping the multiplayer side, which is pretty cool. So definitely, you know, needed if you're gonna have like an SSD in there. That's probably not gonna have the biggest, probably gonna be like 1 terabyte. So yeah, you're gonna have to make up all the space that you can use and just be as efficient as possible, I guess. So that's cool that they're doing that. And yeah, the other stuff where they're talking about how, like, you know, joining people's game and stuff like that, it sounds very familiar to like all the social stuff they try to do with the PS4. So I'm really just waiting to see what we actually get in terms of, you know, this whole completely revamped user interface, because they do say it's like a completely revamped user interface. So yeah, apparently it is a big shakeup. I do hope there still are like the tiles and squares, and it just looks really clean at the moment with the PS4. It wasn't like the XMB where by the end of the PS3 lifecycle we needed like a shakeup that the PS4 brought us. Like, we're completely fine, at least in terms of like the PS4 UI. I mean, there's people that say it's slow, but that's like a different, you know, problem in itself. So yeah, I hope that, you know, the PS4 UI, or I guess the PS5 UI, is a continuation of the PS4 UI, looking clean, but maybe adding some efficiency and more options in terms of like, yeah, what they said in this article about joining people's games and making that whole kind of seamless interaction, because I don't want it like another what's new section where no one ever touches that shit at the bottom of the PS4. Like, yeah, that's the stuff is garbage. So yeah, anyways, I guess that has been it really for all the stuff they talked about today. You know, it was quite a decent kind of update. You know, we got Bluepoint's tease for, you know, the PS5 title. We got some cool information on the Dualshock 5 that I'm personally looking forward to, especially with VR, and as well as just, you know, the official name and holiday 2020. So I guess the big question I do have right now is just what is next? Like, are we gonna get an official reveal? Because these details like holiday 2020 and PlayStation 5 are something that I kind of expected to be announced, you know, at like a January or February reveal. Like, I'm not sure what's going on, especially with, you know, Sean Layden leaving. Like, I wonder if they're going to do an event going forward in the future here. I want them to still do an event because, you know, obviously that's a good way to see the actual games running and stuff instead of like a state of play, because that's just weird to show off a new console at a state of play. So I really hope they still have something like that in the works. I'm not expecting them to go to E3 next year because they haven't done that in the past 2 years now. Or I guess, yeah, past year now, actually. Anyways, guys, with that being said, I guess I'll leave the conversation for you guys to, you know, have in the comments down below. Pretty exciting updates, but of course a lot of details we already kind of knew about. Didn't expect to hear about PlayStation 5 until next year, so I guess that's a start, and we'll see what Sony does next. So that being said, of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here and you have to see any of my other videos and want to see more. And yeah, that being said, see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your day, and take care, everyone.